Candy J with another episode of Candyology. How y'all doing up in here? What's up? Okay, so listen, I have another great show for you tonight. We're talking about situationships. But before we start talking, hi, I have some few guests with me. I have two beautiful ladies and a dude that I kind of like. I love this dude. He's so cool. Brian, what's up?
Hey everybody, my name is Brian Johns. I am an educator and I am an entertainer. I'm happy to be here.
And an awesome singer, guys, too.
Thank you.
Okay. I'm Brandi. My name is Brandi Williams, and I'm in the finance industry.
And I am Rah Kalon. I am a professional empowerment person. I am a voiceover actress, and I am a happy individual.
You should be able to hear it in her voice. She's wonderful, guys. So listen. So when you think about relationships, guys, what is your definition of relationships, Rah?
So I feel like relationships is such a broad term in the first place because when I think of relationships, I don't think just like romantic, I don't think platonic, I don't think friendship, I don't just think familial, I think about all of them. And I think it very much ties to the situationship topic of the evening of relationship means being in the company and sharing space with. So we might have a relationship where we are acquaintances, but that is a relationship. We might have a relationship where we are intimate. That is a relationship. But each one has its own boundaries and expectations. And I think the key thing, and you're going to hear me say this a lot tonight, is communication of it. So that we're all
Hallelujah. Oh, I feel that in my shondo.
Oh,
Yes.
yes.
Communication is key to everything, but I'll give my 2 cents in just a moment.
I agree.
Brandi, what you think, boo?
I think communication and also commitment, not even just in romantic relationships, but even in friendships. I think that's important because just recently I came across a situation with me and my friend. I had to tell her, I was like, listen, I'm committed to this friendship because normally I'd just be like, listen, I ain't got time. Goodbye. I can't be concerned. You feel that way, your business, But I really had to communicate that and let her know that I was committed to working out the friendship and our differences. So.
Yeah, that's true.
I think a relationship entails any type of kinship that you have that involves a level of accountability. Because if you don't have any accountability to the person beside you, you have no relationship.
Sure. Hallelujah.
Say that. I like
say that. And just like Ross said, I feel the same way. I think every relationship, every person that you meet, that you have some type of interaction with, you have a relationship with that person. And so, for instance, I'm sorry, guys, I'm fixing the camera real quick. For instance, I'm a teacher, so I have a relationship with my students. I have a relationship with my friends. I have a relationship with my son. Oh, that 4-year-old baby. I love that man. But I think that relationships have been exploited. And so when I say that, I just mean that in a romantic relationship, I think that the lines have been blurred. And I hear a lot of people calling us millennials. I'm 30. I'll be 37 this month. Aries power. Whoop, whoop. But I don't consider myself a millennial, but I was told I might be. I don't really think so. But I definitely know.
Wait, we in there. In there like somewhere.
These people on my table.
I'm at the tail end of it, but yeah, I'm in
Right. Because how old are you?
27.
And you?
26.
Right.
Dang, I'm old. I'm 28.
So I'm the elder in the building, right? So, okay, so there was a definition that I do research for my shows. Is a relationship, situationship is a relationship without labels where two people are more than platonic friends but haven't committed to being anything official for various reasons. Situationship. That is the definition, okay? The urban definition. Now, actually, urban definition has 3 definitions, but we'll talk about that in a minute. So, let me ask this question before we get into real situationship talk. How do you cultivate your relationships? Anybody?
So, I would say that I cultivate my relationships by being transparently who I am. That way the person can make an informed decision as to whether they want to fool with me or not. I think it's very unfair to try to advertise yourself in such a way that you are not going to consistently uphold, because you're doing yourself a disservice and you're lying to that person. Whereas if you are goofy and lame and awkward and sexual and all of yourself, when you meet them, they can be like, you know, I respect you being yourself, but it's not for me, or I've been looking for that, and they can identify it quickly. So that's kind of how I start my foundations, being myself.
Be yourself. That's me all the way. But there's some blurred lines there that we're going to talk about in just a moment. Brandi?
No.
How do you cultivate relationships?
Same as what you said. Just being yourself, and you meet so many different people just day to day, and some people just stick. I mean, you can meet people in the grocery store that you end up being just friends with, co-workers that have stuck. I mean, there's different associations that you have, and some people just stick with you, and then as you realize, hey, this is an actual friendship, you start to have those boundaries and talk about, hey, what are we to each other,
and expectations.
That's one. That's a huge one. I recently just asked my friend that, like, what do you expect from me as a friend? And she was like, I just expect you to be your whole entire self, child. Just be a human, like, just be okay. It's just, I think it's unfair sometimes when we place those super high expectations, and I think Instagram and Facebook quotes kind of hold people to a standard or put them on a pedestal to where you're just like, if you fail me, if you disappoint me, I'm just disappointed in you as a friend. And it's like, first of all, there was one time you disappoint me. Let's allow each other to be human.
Right. So
That's
I
right.
agree.
Well, I start with like just of course being myself, but also starting open. If y'all get what that means, like if you go into anything with like reservations or with a wall up, people can sense that energy and they'll reserve themselves off from you. You know, so if you start open and you start off trustworthy without any type of motive or anything like that, people will usually gravitate towards you and they'll stick. You know, and then shoot, if you gotta close yourself off, you just gotta do what you gotta do.
Right.
Got it.
I'm here for that.
We're going to talk about these two right here. These two right here. So, for me, cultivating relationships, some people say I'm a serial relationship person, and I don't mean
That's not bad.
I don't mean just with romantic relationships, but I do mean with all type of relationships. So, for instance, I've had friends since I was 3. I have friends that I had since I was 7. I still have friends from middle school. I still have friends from high school.
That's good.
College, you know, and
That's building.
Right. There are all building. I was the assistant director for a church for dancing, and so I have a network of 7,000 people from that church. Like there's so many type of different relationships that I continue to cultivate, and sometimes it's just a hey, how you doing? Were you all right? You good? Or in other closer relationships, like So I'm recently divorced, right? And so one of my closest friends has been there, my ride or die, right? But what does that consist of? What does that look like when we say somebody's our ride or die, right?
They go through the fire with you.
Exactly, through the fire. Well, let me tell you something. Me and my ex-husband, before we got divorced, she was outside of his house, trying to help me get back my child with me.
She was there when you needed support.
Not this one.
And she's actually Brandi's sister. Itty bitty little thing, but when I tell you them earrings gonna come off,
She bucks.
Not this one. Maybe that one, but not this one.
I mean, she's just bad, but that's part of cultivating that relationship, right? You just know. I know there's a friend of mine that I would, hopefully she'll be on the show soon, but she will bring her machete.
Where'd you get a machete from?
Just in case.
There's another one that has a gun that is, I mean, they ready, you know? But that's the extreme part of
That's the die part of it, but I'm one of the friends that'll... I'll ride with you. I'll get hurt, but I ain't finna die. You know what I mean?
I'm not gonna die.
Self-preservation.
I'm not gonna die, and that's why I'm gonna have to agree.
But I will ride with you, and the rider friends are the kind of people that will like tell you the best thing to do instead of like getting a machete.
Yeah.
Why don't we call the cops?
That's the real rider friend. Yeah. You need best of both worlds there.
You do.
Let me tell you what you
I'm
do
the
first.
level-headed one in the situation with the child. I was outside calling the cops, and she was ready to look.
But isn't it nice to know she's there with that fire?
That sounds right.
So let's get to what I really really want to talk about that. So in cultivating those relationships, how do we wind up in situationships? Where do romantic relationships really start? Well, where would you like them to start? Let me put it that way.
You mean relationships with the intent of having a relationship, or just like kind of situationship? What you talking about?
I don't know.
I think that's key though. That communicating part, like your intentions. Are we just chit chatting to just chat it up? Like, is this intentional, or are you just entertaining me? Are we entertaining each other, or are you pursuing me? I need to know so I can know what role I need to play.
That's you're right. It comes. I've been in situationships because I've compromised my values, and I said I came in a situation and said I'm gonna stick to this because I don't want to be in another one of these. And then when I got in there,
bring that out. What exactly does that mean? What exactly did you say in your head? I'm gonna stick to this. What is this?
I'm gonna stick to my value of not accepting what I do not want or what I'm not ready for, i.e. a relationship, i.e. that commitment, that higher stakes with somebody that when I just want to go out and have fun, but then you meet somebody great, you want to keep them in your life and they want different things than what you want, so you compromise to have that person there, and you wind up in a situationship. And Lord,
that's good.
Very well said.
So, for instance, and you can jump in whenever. For instance, I've had a friend for a while, and I knew that when we started this, it had a romantic element to it, right? Absolutely. We said we was gonna see where it go, but then we winded up being friends and doing some other things, and so I kind of feel like, okay, interesting. Where's this going? And we've had that conversation, and we're not doing anything anymore. Oh, but there's some blurred lines here. What do you think those blurred lines look like?
I think blurred lines come in when people are trying to keep their cards close to their chest so that they can make decisions for the other person when they haven't decided what they want already. So I like you, but I don't know what to do with how I like you. But I'm not going to tell you all the ways that I like you because I don't want you making decisions until I've decided what I'm doing. So I'm going to hide who I am or what you know about me until I get to a point where I feel like I have enough control. I think people get weird about relationships and the nature of them, and they consider all these blurred lines because they are always trying to in some way be in control. They do not want to be taken advantage of. They do not want to be belittled. They do not want to be manipulated. So they will choose to be the manipulator thinking they have good intentions. I'm protecting myself. But really, the best way to protect yourself is to be yourself. Be honest. Give them the same courtesy you're giving yourself, and that way, because I think people think if the relationship does not work out we get married, there's this dumb socialized idea of how a relationship ends up successful. If it ends, it's almost treated like it wasn't successful.
Yeah.
And what is that? Is every relationship supposed to go on forever? What is that?
That's what I be saying. You know what I mean? Enjoy the experience. I mean, everything has a season.
Yes.
And I've learned to enjoy the season that I am in somebody's life. I mean, you carry those good things on a lifetime,
Right.
People be tripping.
People do be tripping.
They do.
But do you understand, especially my generation and probably Kenny's generation and Patricia's generation, the goal was always to get married.
Yeah.
It was set in our mind, it was ingrained in our minds, hey, you find somebody, and now it's called dating with a purpose. But before,
and that just depends on who you're talking to too, because I've run into people where it's just marriage is not in my purview. That's not what I'm trying to do.
Right.
But for us, like you say, there is just common sense. I'm dating to get married. Who isn't dating? But you run into people that's not their intention at all.
Truly. It's more common now.
Yeah. Right. It's definitely more common now, and especially, and I say millennials because I don't feel like I'm one of them.
Join the club. Don't be ashamed. Don't be ashamed.
No, but seriously, I just feel like it was ingrained in us. You got to get married, and this is what it is, And so, in going back and thinking about it, I probably shouldn't have married my ex-husband at all, and because I was in that mindset of, so we've dated now. Okay.
So we must
get to this point, right?
Well, who proposed? Did you propose, or
No,
did
he proposed.
Well, you weren't wrong for getting married.
But I might have talked him into.
Okay, well then.
Let's be honest.
I might have been an influence.
I may have coerced them a little bit, you know.
I might have threatened him a bit, you know.
No, I mean the conversation initially was, "What do you want?
Yeah.
What is this?
Yeah. Where are we
going? Where are we headed?" And I was like, I need to marry someone, and if that winds up being you, okay, cool.
But see, like, even with what you're speaking to now, I feel like millennials, previous generations, like, get frustrated with millennials because we don't operate the way that they did, which is almost like from a place of lack or settling.
Oh, yeah.
So you get into a relationship, and because the right thing to do is to commit, you commit. Despite what your instinct is telling you, despite what feels right, you commit because I've been socialized to feel like I need to commit.
Right.
Whether I'm ready, I've been with you for 2 years. That's enough time, so I commit. But if we're honest with ourselves, if we had our own orientation of what I actually want, I think a lot of people would be like, I just want you in my life. If I could have you in my life, then I'm good with that. And we put all these other expectations because we're afraid of losing people.
Right.
But
And
we
when
need
you
to find
force it,
ourselves.
it never works. It never works.
It doesn't.
Never works.
Efforting it does not work.
It does not.
So I was looking up some things, and I found a few things about situationships, and I thought when I looked at them, I was like, this sounds familiar. But also at the same time, there was contradictory information. And you just tell me yes or no, and then chime in. So when you feel like you're in a situationship, you might not go on dates anymore with that person.
With the person you're in the situationship with?
That situationship with.
Well, a situation, you ain't gonna start out going on dates if you're in a situationship.
But that's your definition, though, because there are some that start off going on dates.
What?
That's
That's a relationship.
That's
thing.
trash. You ain't have to.
They just treating you like shit.
I tell you what.
Because that's a relationship. Because if somebody says, "Yo, I want to take you out on a date,"
Yeah.
situationships begin like kind of passively in a way, you know.
You fall into
you fall into
situationships.
it.
Yeah.
Stumble and bump your fucking head. And you're like, what? Excuse my French, but that's how it happens. And then you look up one
If you're
day.
starting off going on dates and gonna find yourself in a situationship, like
That sounds more like you started out going
That's
on
a
dates and then
side
you got friend zoned.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's what it's like. If you stopped going on dates when you started going on dates and now it's shifted to more of a platonic feel, whether it was discussed or not, it sounds like you were asked to be a friend
Yeah.
instead of a contender.
So I have a friend, and I'm going to be her voice. She wanted me to be her voice.
All right.
So she
Channel
acted up a situationship where they went on dates. Dates. And they was hanging out together, you know, having sex with one another. And then they just stopped going on dates. But he's still coming over. And we're doing all what we do together.
Other than going on
right?
dates.
But we're just not going on dates anymore.
Do they communicate pretty openly?
They communicate very openly, but they have no label.
Does she act? So my thought is when I hear all of that on her side, I feel like if she's not comfortable with that, she has the right to validate that for herself and to advocate for herself. So I miss when you would show me your interest when
That's
we would
right.
go out. If that is something you're not interested in anymore, that's fine, but I'm going to go find someone who is interested in that.
That's right.
And if I still feel like smashing you, I'll still smash you when I feel like, but since you've decided this is what you want from me and this is all I get of you, then let me decide what you
and
get
it
of me.
depends too. It's like, does she feel like his attention is being divided, or are they just not going out on dates anymore? Is that something that's just out on the side? Oh, I just noticed that we're not going on dates anymore. Or are you really feeling like
He's
I
not
feel like you're
present.
spending your time somewhere else and trying to spend your time over here too? That's two different things.
The whole thing to me is to finish how you start out, and that's the complexity of situationships because you don't. And I can see how you say that feels like a situationship, but he started out doing that dating stuff, so that gives you a whole different energy. Starting out Netflix and chilling, or just chilling out, and then y'all just end up having sex, and then it becomes something more. And you like, I just want this, and they're like, oh, well, can we have this now? That's a situationship.
Yeah.
Dating and stuff in the beginning, no. We might go to Cheddar's or something like that. Chili's, Applebee's, but I mean, that ain't no date.
All the chain restaurants.
You see what I'm saying?
That's a
nothing else.
situationship. That's friends.
Yeah.
But think about our definition, and I have three more though. But is a relationship without labels, where two people are more than platonic friends, but haven't committed to being anything official for various reasons.
See, I think you can still have not committed, but still be clear. I think
Yeah,
the idea
that's true.
behind that definition is almost it's implied that we aren't clear on what's happening. I think everything else in that definition is very much how I function in the world, how I interact with people, how I build relationships. Like, but I tell you what's going on.
Right.
You know who else is involved. You know who ain't involved. You know what I like. You know what I don't like. But I think it's the fact that it's implied of we don't know why it's this way.
But it's definitely the implication, but there's that lack of communication as well. The second one says you have no title. And I disagree with this one, but I want to hear what you have to say.
To me, with a situationship, you won't have a title. I mean, I've never been in a situationship and had a title.
Like, you don't even get the title side,
those
whatever. You don't get any title whatsoever. It's completely gray.
Yeah, it's really vague.
Completely gray.
Is a friendship a title?
Can
Yeah.
I chime in?
Friendship is a title.
Go ahead, Kenny.
Well, I'm just curious. I mean, the title thing, you guys started out as being friends, right?
Right.
Then it evolved.
So that was the title.
That's the title.
That's what I'm getting at.
So yeah, that's the title.
It needs to stay under that the friends
That
thing.
parent.
When you start adding subsets and stuff like that, like, that's when it gets a little murky. And you're like, what are you trying to do?
But that's when subtitles, like it should appear in our relationships. I think like there should be something underneath us to say, and this is what they actually mean.
Yeah.
Right.
In the fine print.
You just gotta get a clear understanding.
After the prescription, infomercials where they're like, actually can cause diarrhea, vomiting.
Situations may cause.
We need all of that,
Confusion, frustration.
Clearly labeled in there.
Wasted time. All of these
Yeah,
things.
yeah. Shutting down emotionally, like you need all the things listed.
So the next one says you avoid discussing the future. What do you think?
I can see why people define it like
I
that.
agree.
I can see why people do define it as like avoiding, addressing, or talking about the future, because I think the future implies a level of commitment. Because people are really sensitive about their futures anyways. If I don't know what I want to do with myself, you asking me questions,
I'm not gonna tell you
it stresses me out.
And the fact that I gotta might have to possibly bring your ass along.
That's too much. That's too much. I don't even know
gas
wrong
you
with me. How you know? What?
What we finna go? You looking at me? I'm like,
But
I
I
don't know.
also think that in situations, one person might be thinking about the future and the other person is not at times. Definitely at times. And it depends on the course of the relationship.
Yeah.
But see, like if people didn't get intimidated by, like, if you are having any type of relationship with someone and you are interested in them, if you could discuss the fact that you have a future, whether they are a part of it or not, and they don't get intimidated by that, then we could get comfortable enough to discuss a future together.
Right.
But if the second I talk about my future and your first thought is, well, where am I? Then that's why you don't got a title.
That's why you don't got a title.
Wrong here.
Right.
You know?
You wherever you gonna be.
And and the type of person that I am, I plan for the future all the time. But anybody that I'm involved with, I'm going to think about inputting you in, whether we're in a friendship or a situationship or whatever the case may be. I'm always going to involve you in that. And so that's where the waters get a little murky, like, oh, well, you want to take me on a trip like we're together, but we're not. But I don't see
But see,
it
my
that
question,
way.
in my mind, when you want to take me on a trip, I don't know if we're together, I don't, like, me, I would communicate, so I would know generally what's going on. My question to myself would be, do I want to go on a trip or not?
You see what I'm saying? Do I want to go?
Do I want to go?
Can't tell me why
I'm not
you
worried
wanna
about
go.
what we will think of each other after the trip. I'm thinking Punta Cana or, Dominican Republic. What are we doing?
Punta Cana, I ain't never been.
And that's, you taking me places. I'm lit about that. Whatever happens after, I can take care of myself.
Right,
And that's it.
exactly. So it gets murky.
It does.
You just have to know how you're set up, because I know
How you
somebody
designed.
that is like, I can't just have sex with just multiple people.
Right.
That would be me.
And other people's like, hell, I can do what I want to do. I'm free.
Right.
As long as I'm protecting and being responsible.
Exactly.
Neither one is wrong, but they're two different things.
Right.
So usually in situationships, this person is kind of getting with this person.
Yeah.
And they're kind of trying to mix and mingle.
And they have different values. Clearly, it sounds like.
Exactly, yeah.
Exactly. And every person that I've been talking to that's wound up in those situationships, it's always someone at some point saying, "Oh, well, I can just go on a trip with you, and it'd be nothing because I spend my time with you anyway. So what's the problem?"
So they're rational.
And
Right,
see, but
rationalize.
see, too, I have friends too. Some of them, I'm not going on a trip with you because we just, you're gonna irritate me more than we're gonna have fun. Like some people you can roll with all day. Like we talk about that. Like I have friends that I can roll with all day. They can be with me all day, and it doesn't bother me. We just get along. I don't have to entertain. You can be quiet. I can be quiet. We can talk whenever we need to. And other people need to be entertained. Right. So that depends too, because it's like
how much will you need out of me?
How much will you need out of me? I don't want to be drained at the end of it if we're supposed to be having fun.
That's right.
Right.
Situationships should not be draining. Friends with benefits shouldn't be a drain.
It shouldn't. If I ain't got no title, you better not.
And that's the
no
old
type of
school.
stress.
But really,
and that's the old school term for it, friends with benefits.
Yeah.
But it's turned into such a very vast definition of it. You just can't put it with friends with benefits anymore. Because friends with benefits used to mean, okay, we have sex and we go home. You know,
that's true.
Right? It's not that anymore.
But I feel like even with that, you're missing the friendship part. I think when you have, like, when people say friends with benefits, people immediately focus on the sexual implication, but people leave out the part of the friendship.
Right.
And I think it's because people do not believe that you could genuinely have a friendship and have intimacy and then be okay
and
with
I
just that.
definitely can. So, like, because all of my relationships started with the foundation of friendship. It, hands down. Period. Like, I don't understand, and I'm one of those that I have never had a one night stand ever in my life, because I literally cannot sleep with anybody that I have not been friends with. I just cannot. And so if I'm sleeping with you and we're in this period of friends with benefits, I'm good, because I know that.
Because I'm in some way that I not feel safe, because it's my responsibility to feel safe within myself. Right. It's not your responsibility to make me feel safe. But in the ideal friendship, even if it's a situationship or a friends with benefit situation, I can trust I can talk to you about what's going on. If at any point I feel more than what we agreed upon me feeling, I don't feel afraid to tell you that. Exactly. I can tell you that, and then we can make an executive decision that we need to stop then. Or we can keep going, and I too am building something, or it's just not like that.
But however, to your point that you can't, juggle the two, what if the person that you're with decides that they can, and they go and do extracurricular activities outside of the union between you and him?
And we're friends with benefits?
Yes.
Then he can do what he wants to do, because we don't have, unless we have had that conversation that I am the only person that you're sleeping with and you're the only person that I'm sleeping with.
My life just ended. And but you know what?
That is a relationship.
When you can
you see what I'm saying? Like once you start communicating,
like that, real talk.
It's just me and you. That's a relationship at that point. Like you telling me I can't go. Got it. Yeah. So where are we going later on this evening?
What are we doing? Since I can't do this by myself.
But what if you're in the time of, like, I'm in a time of my life where I'm busy. I am straight up busy, and I might not have time for a real relationship. From the quote unquote how we've defined it. So I don't have any problems with being friends with benefits at this current moment. Now, if we change that in my mind sometime later.
Yeah, I hear that happens all the time, where you're just like, I don't have time to entertain you. I don't have time to do anything, but I do need you for company for extracurricular activities. But then whenever you are ready, or let's say he's ready or whatever, can you just turn that off? Can you just switch it? Like, what happens? Are you just like, okay, well, now I want to be in a relationship? And they're like, well, that's
where the communication comes in, though. Like, that's where the consistent. It's not just that we had a conversation after the first 2 weeks of hanging out. This is what we're doing, and that's never going to change. It is a consistent checking in of like, hey, so I know we said that we weren't exclusive, so I'm going on a date. And then 2 days later, you're like, hey, so when you went on the date, I felt some type of way. I know I didn't have a right to, but I felt something, and I just wanted to talk to you about that. And if their response is, well, if you're getting too attached, then maybe we need to stop being intimate, then you know where you at. If they're like, tell me more about why you were jealous. Actually, I don't feel like that about them. This is what I'm seeking from them. So you can get clarification if you keep talking.
That's grown, that's really
but that's a level that a lot of people don't have.
That's what I'm saying. That in theory that works, but realistically, a lot of times that's not what happens.
A lot of times it doesn't, like you said, it doesn't happen. It's not that it doesn't work. You'll see how that approach will affect somebody's behavior if they're mature,
right?
Because that's very smart. I love that.
But I mean, like, and it also is a very good tell if you have that conversation with someone and they cannot meet you at that frequency.
That's right.
When you say those things to them, all they hear is, "So you don't want to be with me?" What they repeat back to you lets you know where they're at.
That's right.
So if they can't vibe with it, you already have your information and you can make an executive decision
That's
on your
very
own.
true.
So what you said is very mature. What a lot of these situations are, they're born in ambiguity, and it can only end in honest conversations, but it's not always that
It's
way.
like if you are in a situationship to begin with, it's a stretch for that to be the end result.
Yeah.
For that conversation to ensue.
Absolutely.
Yeah, you can't hide.
Yes, you can. But
You can, but it don't turn out in your favor. You look bad.
But that begins to me, and I'll make this point, it begins with respect, you know? Whoever you're in a relationship with, a situationship, you got to have that mutual respect.
right.
Yeah.
That way you won't do certain things in front of them and have them feeling some type of way when you know
That
damn
goes
well.
a long way. It goes a long way.
Being thoughtful.
That's right. That's
Yeah.
right.
So the next one says, we've actually covered the next one. You make future plans without thinking of them. We covered it. You have feelings but no love. Is that true for anybody that's been in a situationship? Feelings but no love.
You got butterflies and you feeling away, but you're like,
So, yay and nay. I can only speak from my perspective, and I love easily. And I don't take saying that you love somebody lightly. So when I tell people, even if they're like, really, you love me? I'm like, yes. Now, understand when I say I love you. Understand. Understand.
because I ain't dumb.
You know, because I'm not letting you in like on all this, but I'm telling you that I have seen enough of your character consistently to value you.
That's good.
And
That's
it does not.
perfect.
I
That's
cannot.
really good. I like that.
I can love you without being codependent on
Right.
you.
Oh.
I can love you and not be in love with
Oh.
you.
Do
and
you have
not
an
make
offering
decisions.
plate?
In the night.
Do you have drop something in
That's
there?
good.
But I'm telling you, like, I can love you and still have control over my mind and not
Exactly.
lose it because
That's right.
you're doing whatever you're doing. And
I'm
so
not
I think
crazy.
you can have, in my situationships, which I just call relationships because they know what's going on, I will tell them that I love them, but I will also still remind them of where I'm at so that they don't misinterpret that love.
Absolutely. I agree. What else, Brian?
She took the words out of my mouth. I mean, love is a sliding scale to me. Everybody doesn't start out with the same. I can't think of the word. The same. I don't know. Intensity of love. You know what I
Right.
mean?
Oh yeah.
So yeah, to her point, I agree.
I agree.
I agree.
That's why
I concur because
that.
no, that's very true. I mean, hey, you love who you love, whatever. I mean, yeah, I can love you and still be my whole self and be
Exactly.
perfectly fine. You can go on and do whatever it is you want to do, but you still brought value and you continue to bring value to my life. So
Yeah,
Right.
good love comes with maturity. You know?
yes,
Because I think about the friendship aspect of it. I started out as friends with you, so I love all my friends, and that intensity increases as we grow closer and closer and closer. So I don't necessarily agree with that statement that you can have feelings with no love. I definitely love anybody that I'm in some type of relationship with.
Absolutely.
But am I in love with you though?
Yeah, that's
Whole
the thing.
different ballgame.
That's the thing.
Whole different thing.
Different
You was like, we ain't
ballgame. Wait, what? Kenny? What'd you say, Kenny? What?
Say it again, Kenny.
Say it again?
I said you're in love with me, but we ain't fucking.
Oh, hell no.
Right, that's a different type of love.
It's different type of on the scale.
I love you like a brother.
I heard there was like 4-5 different types, so it's falling the
Right.
Different
right.
love
Brothers.
language. Yeah.
Right.
Sometimes you gotta love your situationship like a brother too.
Hey.
Hello, our sister.
Yeah, however you need to, perceive it.
Wrap you up.
Just stay
After
in
the
your
fact.
lane.
Exactly.
After the fact?
Yes, of course.
Yeah.
Because what they say, what's understood, does not need to be explained or
Or
something.
I don't know, and I feel like that's a whole hell of a lie. A Jussie Smollett lie. Do you understand?
She's like, let me put a name to it,
I'm just
so you know that I don't agree.
because I feel like it's all about communication.
True.
If you don't tell me what's on your mind and be direct about it, then how am I an alien? I'm just Brian loves me. Brian hates me. Like, no, I don't know.
I think actions say a lot, but we do need communication to affirm what it is that you're doing.
Yes.
All right.
So if you're showing me something, okay, I'm getting it, I'm picking it up, but let me know what's going on so I'm making sure it's the right thing. That way, that avoids a situationship too, because you can act away, and I know it's something, and you know it's something, but then you're saying something otherwise. That's trash. Don't do that.
And
I need for them to match.
That is true. You know, pardon my French. That's the fuck boy, fuck girl.
Absolutely.
That's the mindset. I am treating you as if we're dating, but then when you clarify with me, I'm like, oh no, we talking. What?
Talking about too much.
I met your mama. Why am I meeting mama if we talking? Mama don't care that we talking. But I also feel like it's worth noting, like the idea of like what's understood doesn't need to be discussed. I don't agree with that necessarily, but I do feel like once we have discussed and once we have gotten to an understanding, we do not need to talk about it all the time.
Correct.
Because people who I see bringing it back up, it means that you are just saying you agree to what I'm saying, but you're still trying to change it.
Okay, so let me ask you this. What if, and because we said we needed to have a consistent conversation, how long do you feel like? Because, for instance, if there's different elements being placed into those things, then I need to know, okay, wait a minute.
And that's when we need to have a conversation. But let's say that things have been the same for 4 months, but every 3 days you're asking, so how do you feel? And that's my point. Now, if different people are being brought in and you're moving and you're, losing interest in this and gaining interest in that, then yes, we need to consistently be talking. And in fact, I think those are the relationships, friendships, situationships that are the most interesting, because watching someone grow will endear you to them because you see them doing their own thing and it either resonates with you or it lets you know, actually, I'm not moving in that direction. But if we have to consistently keep talking about something that is not like blatantly not changing, I'm not changing up my behavior, I'm not communicating with you different, I see that as a sign of you're too insecure to directly tell me
you feel away. You can't say
aren't
that.
Comfortable.
Which speaks to one of the things they said, you're playing chicken.
You're playing chicken.
You're playing chicken.
Yeah.
Don't lie.
Chicken! Just say how you feel.
Yeah,
it's
right.
not
Say
that
you're
hard.
bothered.
It's not. I'm bothered. I'm a little jealous.
Yeah, I'm intimidated.
Yeah.
People get scared of that. They are scared to be vulnerable. But if you acknowledge it before they do, you own the power.
Right.
That's
If
true.
you say I'm jealous before, like you're acting jealous, because when someone tells you you're acting jealous, like it's like you high and dry. You're like, oh, so you gonna pull my card?
I think they think because too, like, I don't have a right to feel away.
Right.
Because who I am to you, who am I to you?
Yeah.
Can I feel jealous? Is that
Am
is
I
that a
allowed
valid
to?
feeling? Like,
You got to be able to compartmentalize your feelings when it comes to situationships. That's all. I have to
Truly,
say.
you need to know your lane. But
Yeah.
really, not just know your lane with the person, but you need to know your lane for you.
yourself.
I think situationships happen when people who are not self-aware start trying to get involved with people who might be.
I know I'm not good for it. Okay, let me tell you what. I know what I'm not about to do.
See?
That. Okay.
That's right.
So and I could, of course, you can learn how to be okay with it. It doesn't mean that I'm insecure in a way or just even immature in a way. It just means I don't want to deal with that. I don't have time for it. That's a lot of
It's not for
energy
me.
to put into something that you just like, well, you may be here today and gone tomorrow and all of that. I don't really have time for that. I feel like you just say what it is you want. We can figure out if we trying to do this, if we not, and then you can move on. But you have to know that. Like, don't be trying to just play with people and you're not really sure. Like, just don't.
Just say that you're not sure. And then we run into the situation of a lot of people, when people are honest with them and they say, hey, I don't really know what I want. I'm just like, I enjoy your company. It's a very vague thing to say to someone, right? I enjoy sharing space with you. It's a cop-out. However, if you then decide to buy into it, it's your fault.
It is. I agree.
It ain't on them. It ain't on them at that point.
Go ahead. No.
To me, I don't know if enjoying somebody, saying that to somebody honestly is a cop out. I wouldn't say that.
Maybe not a cop out, but it's vague.
To me, I've said that to somebody, and I was like totally honest and
That's
Very
spot
honest.
on.
That's what I was
and
about
that's
to say.
all I wanted, to enjoy your company.
Yes.
But they were like, they wanted something more.
They
And I'm
wanted
like,
to clarify what that meant.
Right.
I think so, and they wanted to title our situation,
Which lets you know they weren't on the same frequency.
Exactly. Yeah.
They didn't understand the verbiage.
That's true. That's true.
We've already talked about this other one. You have sleepovers routinely.
You have what?
Sleepovers routinely.
Oh, yeah.
Oh yeah.
I don't think you should be spending the night.
Oh.
Wait,
I don't think
what
you should
is
spend
that?
the night.
I don't think you should spend a night. I think that gives the wrong connotation when you are in a situationship. I mean, or when you and a friend with benefits. Like, I don't think you should stay longer than you know.
There's levels to situationship.
Exactly.
There's
Levels to this shit.
There's
There's
levels to
levels to
this
this
shit. Because what if I've given you that good gun and we fall asleep? Like,
That's fine, but like you staying over and like cooking and stuff like that, you don't need to do that because
You
that
gotta be
might send
gone
the
by
wrong
10.
signal.
Yeah.
I'm just
Boundaries.
Get
Like
your
you
shit.
can stay. You're not
Yeah.
about to stay like until noon the next
Don't
day.
get comfortable.
That's
No,
it.
you
Don't
don't
get
live
comfortable.
here.
You don't got a toothbrush yet.
You know that too. Moving in your stuff.
You
That
look
gives
at
the
them.
wrong kind. That gives the wrong
Right.
thing impression.
But some people still have a drawer over at their situationship
And
house.
if they've discussed that and the situationship is open to
It's
it,
flourishing.
hey, and that's the thing, like with
Flourishing
situationships, it has a negative implication because it really means that the rest of the people who look at it won't understand.
Right.
If the people, I can't even say two, whoever involved, we ain't gonna
Lord.
put numbers on it. We ain't gonna put numbers on it. You know, it's 2019. It's two. We can't put numbers on it. Whoever is involved, 2 of them, 18 of them, whoever. If they are good with that, then it doesn't matter. But if we're trying, a lot of people build relationships that they hope their family and friends will support, and then they start trying to impose that on their relationship.
Yeah.
And it's like, no, me and you were good. Don't let your auntie tell you you need to look for more if you don't want to look for more.
Which
You ain't
brings
lying.
me to the next one. You haven't been introduced to the family and friends. Do you agree or disagree?
Say the whole
You
statement.
have not been introduced to family or friends if you are in a situationship.
Can I chime in real quick? Okay, the situationship. I mean, it
Come
is
on,
what it
Kenny.
is. And Rah, you just pretty much hit the nail on the head. It's based on those two. There are no rules. The rules are developed by the two individuals that are involved. It has nothing to do with nobody else. So, me and Candy, our situationship could be one thing, but I might want to get in with Rah a little bit, and we got in this agreement. We can do the same thing. She know about you, and you may not know about her because you don't feel comfortable with them. So I'll have to make a decision on how much information is being shared based on the situation that I'm in. But bottom line is there are no rules. There are absolutely no rules.
There aren't, except for the ones that you and the people involved create.
See, I had no rules, but I have full disclosure when asked.
Say it.
Like,
yes.
That's true.
Because I was entertaining another person, and one of my situations said, "Are you intimate with anybody else?" I said, "Define intimacy first of all." And I said,
Before I
"I
tell
got
on
friends, and I'm I don't want to know what you're trying to
No,
figure out."
that's not
Yeah.
necessarily true.
And then I said, "I got friends, and I have somebody else that I'm intimate with." And you know, if I would have withheld that information, it would have been a whole nother situation.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? So
Yeah, but that's the transparency of it, because then with that, like, they can make an informed decision.
Right.
Once
Exactly.
they find out, like, this is where I'm at, this is what I'm doing, or what you're doing, then it's like, so how do I feel? What do I want? Actually, I got proposition the other day. Now that I know they're stepping, I can go act on that too. Versus
go.
like, I'm uncomfortable. Why am I uncomfortable? But people got to be willing to like self-reflect.
that's true. And then go after what they want when they feel they want it.
Yes, and not like chicken out.
Yeah. That's
But
so
the
true.
chickening out is the biggest thing, though.
Yeah.
It's all about that communication. So let me ask this, and this is not just speaking on situations. This is relationships because I know she's gonna have something to say. So when you're done with someone, when you're completely done with that person as far as being in that situation or romantic level, or even we can even just say just a friendship, how do you deal with those things?
Cold turkey. Cold turkey. Goodbye. I cannot be concerned. I don't want to be concerned.
So do you mean like you ghost on the person, or do you?
I mean, no, they know it's done, but it ain't no. I'm finna still talk to you. We still about to chop it up. When you don't text me and ask me what I'm doing. Don't call. Like, why you want to know?
Yeah,
That's
I
true.
think when I'm done, the boundaries shift. I
Oh,
can't
for
say
sure.
that I'm one that I'm like completely, because it depends on why we stopped whatever we were stopping. If it shifted to we don't want the same things, but I still support where you're headed in life, then we can hit each other up. Not on the same frequency, not as often, but if I'm like, hey, you got anything you want me to support coming up? Yes. But I don't. I used to want to just be a savage and just cut it cold turkey. If I feel disrespected, if I feel like where you're headed is toxic for me, I am that way. I'm self-preserving in that way. But if I feel like we just had a difference in opinion, then the love that I have does not change.
still there.
The boundary shifts to I need to guard my heart. We're not doing what we did before. You don't have access to all the doors. You don't have a key to all these drawers. You can't see all my things, but you can still come and say hi.
Sure.
And so I asked that question because the girlfriends in my house, they have this thing blocked, deleted, all text messages erased, all emails erased.
Yeah, like it never happened.
Wipe you clean from Facebook, Instagram, Snapchat, whatever.
But
Like, it
listen
never
though, you have to
happened.
understand
I don't
that that was just that situation. Like you said, it depends on who you're dealing with. Like
so
if I communicated that I'm having an issue, I don't like it when you do this, this makes me feel this way, and you constantly over and over just show that you can't be concerned with how I feel in this relationship, I'm gonna be smart and I'm gonna be like, okay, that's fine. You don't have to worry about that no more because we just not gonna talk no more. Goodbye.
Yeah.
Okay, but if it's something like that, like like one of my exes, I did block him for a long but that was just for my sanity. We didn't even end on bad terms or anything like that. But we had such a long relationship that you have to allow yourself to be separated from it so that you can heal without it. I don't block him, we good, but he was blocked for like 5 years.
Jesus Christ.
But that's because I forgot to unblock him. I still had his number. But I forgot to unblock him on all the social medias and stuff. I just forgot, I didn't know. But we didn't end on bad terms. It's just, we were going 2 different ways and we talked about it and that's what it was. And we can still chop it up now. There are boundaries. We're not about to do this and end up back where we were. But it depends on who you're dealing with. Some people deserve to be blocked and do not talk to me again because you're disrespectful.
I've had 2 sides of that coin. I have both sides of that coin because one person I actually had to like tear myself away from because when I would, and because I knew it just wasn't right. When I would get calls like you're this and you're that.
Is this after the relationship?
This was after the situationship. And it was like, I love you. You're smart. You're one of the wisest people I know. I got that bullshit too. I was like, okay, so maybe I'm important in this person's life, and so I had to like separate myself by force, like cut off cold turkey. There's another situationship. Lord, I'm the king of this shit. Yeah. But it was another one that I tried to end it, and it felt like a death because the friendship that we formed was so strong.
Right.
So I had to maneuver things in a different way to enjoy the person in my life.
Absolutely. And you have to do that.
And I'm that way with everybody though.
Jeez.
Except for a few, but it was something major. Like for instance, my ex-boyfriend, my Achilles heel of my first love, came back into my life not that long ago, and his wife died. And so I had him blocked for a year because of the nature of some things that went down. But I had to unblock him for that purpose, and he's blocked again now. But
It'd be like that.
But I had to. But that was a very different circumstance. But I don't block anybody. I don't delete their text messages. I don't block. Now, the people I block on Facebook, the people I block on Facebook and Instagram is because you sent me a dick picture.
Yeah.
That's the only reasons why I'm going to block you, because you were disrespectful like that. But like if we were true friends, I'm not going to block.
But see, even like the blocking, like I perceive the blocking and the cleaning of like any existence you were ever here. Like I feel like that is a sign of immaturity, but mainly like you can't process it, and you're deciding instead of processing it, I'm going to remove it.
Right.
And so that's why you carrying all this baggage to the next person, because instead of actually, not saying that you need to go back and reread everything and relive in the past, but if you need to remove the whole memory they existed, you probably haven't healed.
Right.
So you need to be willing to at least investigate that before you bring those burdens to someone else.
I also feel like too that there is a way that you can give yourself the space to heal. Like it's very hard to deal with a loss of a relationship or something like that, and the proximity, you're too close to it. They have access to you just whenever they want, because whatever reason that you guys are not together, you need to be able to process it, and they need to be able to process it. You can't access me whenever you want to. That's not fair to whoever it is that I'm, going for next. Like that's not fair.
Or for me, it's just not fair.
That is what I feel like to me causes baggage, because I'm trying to process it with you in my ear. I'm trying to get away from you. Like I'm trying to heal from what this happened between us. Give me that space. When I'm in clear head and I can look at you and not feel nothing inside, then we can chop it up. But right now I cannot.
I almost see it as like a Venn diagram. When you are a little bit of like a Venn diagram, like you are two individuals and you come together and you make this third entity. And so when that relationship shifts, I have to become an individual again. And so I have to separate. I can't have the bits of you still influencing me, because I'm going to make decisions for me that still involve your thoughts and your biases and such as that. So if I can just take the space, however long that is, don't try to dictate it. Don't ask me how much time do you need. Don't worry about it.
Okay.
I'll let you know. But if I can take that space, then I can come back and identify you as an individual. I can be secure in myself as an individual, and we might be able to like forge a new a new something that's more appropriate now.
But I think that's the crux of which, like, deleting somebody out of your life, falls on, because it's space and accessibility. I have a friend, he breaks up with anybody, like, they might as well be just dead. And it's not because he hates them or anything like that. It's because, like, I don't want to know you. I don't want to see you. I don't want to feel that anymore. Yeah. So it's a protection type of thing. It is. And if you friends with somebody on Instagram, they'll inbox you because they're lonely, even though they the one that broke up with you.
Exactly.
I feel like blocking them, just trying to erase it, is one thing, but you have to heal from it so that you can see them and be able to have a conversation with them later on. But I mean, like, just everything, especially if you had a long relationship. It's like, my family know you, my friends know you. I'm gonna have to go through at least 4 seasons with people being like, well, what happened to so and so, and what happened to so and so? It's like, well,
that show got canceled.
You see what I'm saying? Like, let me get through that without you still being here. People still ask. It's been
Seriously,
jeez,
like, auntie, back down.
So let me ask this: how many of y'all are single?
We got a lot to say, don't we? A whole lot. Let me tell you what's going on.
So how do y'all make it through being single? And I'm talking about emotionally, and I'm talking about physically, especially physically.
I feel like the physical part is the challenge, because you have to find something to do with your time when you feel that way. Emotionally, you just, get busy on stuff that you're doing, and you heal and you grow and you learn things about yourself, and you cultivate other types of relationships and all of these different things. And I see what you're doing there. I understand. But I feel like the physical part is just something where you just like, child, let me get out the house, let me go take a walk, let me go, do something.
Channel it somewhere else. But
I think that is the...
Can you get that vibrator out of the mic?
I mean, out the mic. She out in the mic.
Heart to heart right now.
It's different for men, though. It's a little bit different for men. I mean, because I understand you focus your mind on something else. For us men, we'll find a corner, masturbate, do our little thing. Listen to her. We'll do our little thing, and then we'll jump into a quick, short-term situationship, and then come on back out because we ain't got to commit to nothing.
You see what I'm saying? Some people go in with those intentions.
But also, like, women find a way about doing that too. However, when they do it, they will rationalize, like, oh no, I know that this is just a temporary thing, but then start imposing. Sometimes, not all women, will impose what they missed from the last relationship and be like, well, we have this connection, so can't we just add a little bit of this in so I can make myself comfortable? But it's because you haven't accepted that the last thing ain't going on no more.
And you projecting them expectations on that person. They are not there.
That's not what they're here for. That ain't their job.
With me dealing with the physicality part, I'm 37.
But that can't hold you at night.
And you see what I'm saying? And that's what my thing is.
But it gets me through.
It might not wrap me up, but it gets me through.
And this one is called Amaze.
Okay.
And it's short on purpose because it's meant to hit that G-spot.
Intentional.
But then it has a clitoral stimulation, and it looks like a tongue, if you can see it.
I do see the indention, yes.
But the great, awesome thing about this is it has 2 different, what do you call these? Settings. No, controls. 2 different controls. This can pulsate, this can vibrate, then this can vibrate, and this can pulsate, and they can do different things.
Alternations. Okay.
At the same time. At the same time. I'm just gonna pass that around just a little bit.
Let them use you.
Girl, look at this lady.
No.
But wait, we haven't forgot about y'all when you need some help to make it through, Brian.
Oh, it's okay.
I don't need no help.
You go.
I'm good. I'm all right.
You good?
He's like, I can't benefit from that.
It looked like it need to be wiped off.
You see what I'm saying? Like a whole bunch of people held it at some point.
I see some stuff on it. I don't know.
It's the lubrication that we were using the other. And this one,
it's just a lot.
This one is called Helping Hands.
All right.
And so when you need a little extra hand, Brian and Kenny,
I got all hands.
I got big hands.
This one right here.
Okay, I feel like we can figure out how to use it. You gotta demonstrate?
Yes, exactly.
Show them what you do.
She gotta demonstrate.
Part of the show.
Can we see this
with the Thor top?
This is a whole situation right here.
This is a situation.
You see what I'm saying?
you.
Oh, okay.
Can't
the
certainly
same-
squat out that penis. I don't know what's.
At the same
It better not. 'Cause I can go
Same.
home.
time. But it's amazing because it can go over the head of it, just like this, and deposit all of that good yummy stuff if you're not going to take it in your mouth.
It almost seems like a foreskin type of situation for those who aren't circumcised and how they can like
It could be, but you can also turn this over and get the original.
If you don't wash it, it will smell like one.
And speaking of washing,
I'm glad we got
all-
the testosterone. Because, sometimes we can get a little carried away. You know?
we like to get distracted.
We can get a little carried away.
all you need is a little bit of toy cleaner, or you can warm water. I like to bleach everything.
I was just thinking some bleach.
That's just me personally, but toy cleaner works just the same.
Yeah.
I think you're
Some
unplugging
feedback going on
something.
here. They off.
That's
I
me.
don't know what happened to my earbuds.
That's me.
Got you.
Sorry, people. But it works to help a lot of people through some issues that they have, because talking about all these relationships and situationships makes me not want to be in a relationship sometimes. You
It
know,
actually inspires me.
Yeah, you just gotta know what you want and don't compromise on that.
And I feel like too, whenever you get to that point to where you're like, well, I'm in a relationship or I'm not, it doesn't really matter. Then
Then that's when the
that's
devil
when
come along.
then that's when they gonna come around or whatever. So you just be.
yeah, that's probably what it is. Absolutely. But you gotta remember, unlike y'all millennials, I have been married for 14 and a half years, so it's a little different.
Yeah, it's a different playing field.
And what I really want to have on here is some single ladies and men that are over the age of 35.
Okay.
And because that's a whole
It's gonna
nother,
be a
good
different
panel.
that's a whole nother conversation.
Yeah, that's a good panel.
Yeah, because all y'all are under the
Yeah, we all free and liberated.
Right, we got hope. We got a lot of life to
Yeah,
live.
you
They
know.
be on more bullshit than we be on
Yeah.
every time. They be on that bullshit.
Talk about lying how you feel.
I'm
That
telling
might
you.
be what's going
Hey,
on.
hello, they set in their ways, man.
I got one more thing that helps me through
Oh.
before we kind of wrap this up tonight. This one's called Allure.
Allure.
Uh-huh.
Who are naming these things? Is Candy doing that,
Candy,
or are you?
Yes, no. This one's literally called Amaze. This one's literally called Allure. And so it's a G-spot stimulator.
Okay.
And it's definitely on.
Your demonstrations are awesome.
Yeah. But you know, it's hitting that G-spot.
Minus the eye contact.
I was like, she gazing deep into your eyes.
Minus that.
Like hooks in.
Yes.
Secure the bag.
We have one that's called I'm Hooked that's like that one too. It's just smaller and battery operated. Most of our stuff is USB chargeable.
You could like pop this in and start vacuuming or something. You can do
Right,
that. Oh, okay.
right.
She
You would
said
probably
vacuum,
want to do
and I
the
You
can't
know,
even
it
feel.
seems like it'll, you know,
It
it'll
is.
stay.
It's
But you want to do the
If
Kegel
you
balls
keep
for that
on,
one.
if you,
Yeah,
you
the
know.
Kegel balls. Kegel balls are wonderful.
I'm good.
No.
Good?
you don't want to.
No.
You sure?
He don't
I'm
have,
fine.
He don't have anybody to buy that for right now. He don't have no, no.
If he buy it first, he may have somebody.
Oh, yeah.
Buy it and just
Oh,
gift
I
it.
need to get one for my mama.
Yeah.
While she's sitting up here.
Oh, yes.
Gift it.
Mother's Day is coming up.
I couldn't live that down if I bought that for her. I wouldn't be able to do it.
Just give her a gift certificate. We're done.
I don't even want to know she used the gift. I don't even want to know.
So, guys, I want to thank you so much for coming on. Please stay afterwards. I have something for you. If it's here, I think it's here. But so join me next week when we are talking about being beautiful and having sex. Yeah.
All right.
Oh, so listen. Her name is Amber Franklin. My Big is Beautiful. Check her out on Facebook, Instagram, social media. Kendra Rainy Knight. She is an author and she has some nasty, sexy books that just
They
will
do
blow
it
your
for you,
mind.
right?
And then we got Nikki Rose. What in the building? Plus Size Dallas Takeover is a fashion show that is coming up on I want to say March 24th. March 24th. So they will all be on my show, and they are all thick girls.
What about the heavyset men? Where's their
That's
representation?
another show, boo! I got you.
Because like you got to show them how to look
Sounds
for it.
like
and
she
what to
got
find.
you covered.
I got you covered. I already
No, not me.
I already
I'm not that big.
Yeah,
but
He's like, but for those who are.
for those who are,
talking about for those who are.
representation matters. There's a little big kid out there that wants to live the
know.
dream one day.
So, I want to thank y'all for joining me today, and I am wishing you love-filled days and orgasmic nights.
All right.
This
Say
is
that.
Candy Jack.